All right, it says I'm live, so I'm going to believe it just for a few moments. I'm hoping that somebody very, very quickly, within the first 30 seconds, is going to come on here and tell me, and I probably have not plugged in my audio. That's generally what happens. This is a professional outfit. This is a professional show. We plug in our phones before the show starts. Anyways, my name is Michael Bunker. This is the Bunker Nation Show. I hope you're all out there. I hope that the sound and the video is working. I'm going to be your host for the evening. This is our election eve broadcast, since I most likely will not be doing a show tomorrow because I'm going to an election party. So until then, you guys, let's have some fun tonight. Get on there, get in the comments section, put in your comments, get your questions, get your topics, whatever you want to talk about. Sound and video are good. You guys are on it, man. You are on it. Hello, Daniel. Hello, Richard from L-Town. Pat's in Montana. Ethan is out there in Alaska, I believe. Frank is here in Texas. Daniel's in Michigan. Chris is here. I did what you asked. I did my hair in a ponytail. I got a ponytail going on here. I don't know if you can see it, but I didn't do the whole thing. I try not to look like Steven Seagal. I'm a little bit concerned that I'm going to look like Steven Seagal. I don't want people coming up picking fights with me because they think I'm Steven Seagal. David McCormick's here. Good to see you, brother. But I did it. I did it in a ponytail. I said I would do it, and so I did it. I may take it out because it might give me a headache. Anyways, I hope you all are here. I hope you're having fun. Make sure you hit the like button. Everybody push in, which means I want you to come in like we're having a confab, like we're having a conference. Type into the comment section. Tell me where you are. Say hello. Let's be friendly and all those sorts of things. This is election eve. Most likely will not be here tomorrow night, so I wanted to be able to talk to you all one last time before the election. Who knows? Perhaps we're getting into a period of change. You never know. Hello, Diane. If you think I cut my hair, I didn't. I don't know what you did it means. But it's just in a ponytail. I may take it out here in a little while. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable. I walk around thinking, man, I hope people don't think I'm Steven Seagal and then come and want to fight me. All right, Canyon, Texas is in the house. Nancy's here from Bucksport, Maine. Ravonda. We got a lot of folks here. Diane's here. Good to see you guys. Glad you voted. Don't care, but I'm glad you did. Have us here from Miami. Anyways, come in here, everybody. Type your questions and topics. Anything you want to talk about. It can be about just about anything into the comment section. Daniel's here. Bunch of people got their copy of God in the Storm today, the hardback copy of my latest book. And so a bunch of you have contacted me and told me that you got it, and I appreciate it. I'm glad you did. Make sure that as soon as you read it, you go to Amazon.com and leave a review. You thought I was Steven Seagal. See if this does more. All right, so I had a couple of shows, talked about a couple of things. The last couple of shows have been pretty hot. The last one was a little spicy. Had a lot of people here. Got pretty popular. As far as this show goes, I'm up against a lot of, let's call it technological disadvantages. Since YouTube and other platforms don't particularly want me talking, I guess. Chuck Norris, I'll take. The election party is in Brownwood. Frank, come meet us. We're going to be at Teddy's Brew House tomorrow. Anybody that wants to, come to Teddy's Brew House tomorrow. We won't be there till about 7:30. But I think they're starting about 6 o'clock. They're going to be showing the election results and all that kind of stuff. Should be a good time. They've got great food there. Good people. I've met the owners and the brewmaster, and they're good folks in Brownwood. So, yeah, come on by. We'll be there. I'm going to try not to wear blue or red. I may be wearing my black Bunker Nation hoodie. These are coming to the merch pretty soon. I got to get another supplier, but they're coming pretty soon. All right, so I've done a couple of shows. The last couple have been a little bit spicy. I only lost 2 subscriptions after yesterday. I didn't gain any new ones that I know of. So I need everybody to go subscribe if you want this show to keep going. We talked a little bit in the last one about the election and the different possibilities, the different scenarios that could happen. There's one I wanted to talk about, but I want to talk about it from a little bit of a different take. All right, so you guys know, if you've been here long enough, if you've been listening to me for 20 years, if you listen to me for 10 years or 5 years or whatever it is, I'm careful. I believe in logic and reason. And I also believe that what you should do is you should moderate your certainty. You should be able to willingly admit what you don't know, recognize what you don't know, and don't go off half-cocked thinking you know everything when you don't. Just because you're right in one instance doesn't mean you are right because you followed a logical conclusion to its end. Pardon me, you could be right on accident, which happens to some people sometimes. I've always said there are 2 people that are the most valuable people you can have in your life or around you. Someone that's right all the time is a very valuable friend to have. Somebody that's wrong all the time is equally as valuable. However, you have to learn to moderate your certainty. And so what we're going to talk about a little bit is a scenario that's very likely, it's very possible, that could be going on as we speak. But I'm going to teach you how to study it and how to understand it without committing because you don't know enough. So we talked about the different scenarios, and one of the scenarios we've all talked about quite a bit is the possibility of violence. It's very likely, very possible, almost certain that there are people who have plans that align with the election one way or another to create some type of change, a change agency that pushes a Marxist or a totalitarian view of the world, and they just look for scenarios that they can push that agenda. So over the last couple of days, I've been reading some materials that have been sent me. Now, I get stuff sent me all the time, and most of it's garbage. And the reason that it's garbage is people haven't been doing this long enough. They haven't figured out, they haven't been through enough rodeos. And so, if you've been through enough of these things, and enough people over 20 years have told you that the Chinese are staging military in Canada, or that the Germans are taking over a military base in New Mexico, or they're using railroad crossings to create internment camps through the Walmart or whatever. Once you've been through that enough times, you start looking at things askance. Doesn't mean that they aren't true. It just means that you start looking at things and realize that there's things that you don't know, which we're going to get to. If you're patient, we're going to get to why you don't know these things. So 2 of the things that were sent me recently are very, very reputable. In fact, I looked at them, and knowing what I know, and I have information that you probably don't have, they look very realistically possible. The first one was this. It was a document that was being circulated purporting to be an Antifa-like, I don't want to, you get into the vernacular and these people start going, oh, Antifa is just an idea. Oh, there's a document going around under the hard left-wing Marxist groups. And it had some ideas or commands or whatever you want to call them, directions about insurrection and activities after the election. That was very realistic. And by realistic, I mean sometimes you know things and you know language that people use and so one thing I've said here for a long time, if you're going back at least to March or April, I've always said that the thing is not the thing. They get you watching the thing. The thing is not the thing. The Antifa and the BLM and let's have revolution carrying Russian. That's not the real thing. There are people that are controlling those people. There are people that are paying for pallet loads of bricks to be delivered and that are moving these people around the country in vans. And these people are showing up and they're all having the same gear and the same dialogue and there's signs and stuff. And there's some organization going on. So this document purported to have a list of things that people need to do. And it made a lot of sense in that revolutionary. When you read books about revolution, you understand how these things work and other experiences. And so, and one of the things it had was a list of goals or whatever you want to call them, the things that they're shooting to accomplish. There was primary goals and secondary goals and tertiary goals. And one thing I've said from the very beginning is that this is not about any particular action. It's not about direct action. It's not about some group of black-clad, pajama-wearing, basement-dwelling, fat-ass juveniles running around with skateboards, cracking people on the skull, thinking that somehow this is the foundation of a safe and equal form of government. Those people are all tools. And some of the arguments that were made in this document back that up. And that one of the tertiary goals of this group or these actions was the response, the reaction, to get Trump or whoever to overreact or to react in a way that can be portrayed as dictatorial or traditionally authoritarian, and then to get foreign nations involved in intervening. For those reasons and some of the language that was used and my own personal experience in these things, I deemed this document very credible. And so then the second document that went out, and I saw it all over the internet, and I saw some other people quoting it, was one that was supposed to be a hacked document. And it was very detailed, showing how these different groups ought to act during the election and after the election. And there were a lot of great details about what words were going to be used constantly. And so the word counting is to be used in every single news article, every handout, every sign. Where count all the votes, we count, all votes count everything. The word counting was going to be used all the time. And there were some other instructions. And then there were some red lines that said, okay, we're nonviolent. One of the things that was very interesting is where it was saying that they needed to co-opt or regain the patriotic lexicon. In other words, according to them, the racist white nationalists have taken Americanism, the red, white, and blue, and all of that traditionalism, and had adopted it to themselves. And this group was saying, we're not going to let them do that. We're going to take back the red, white, and blue. Although we don't believe in those things. And it says that in the document, although we understand that America has been evil, that America is evil, that America has always been evil, and we don't believe in any of the things that America has done, we're going to take back these symbols, and we're going to. So when you're making your signs, make them red, white, and blue. Use this particular language. There was a lot of instructions about the language that was to be used. Body confirmation, how to hold your body when you're protesting, how to hold a sign, all of these kind of things. And there were all these instructions, and then there were these red lines. So this peaceful type of opposition was to happen until they crossed these two red lines. One of the red lines, I can't remember exact details, but if for some reason Trump is challenging results in court, or if there's some hint that the results are perhaps not, or could be fraudulent, then that's the first red line. And there was the instructions about, and there were maps about where to go and how to shut down. And then the second red line was a general strike. And that general strike was actually going to be calling upon high school students. Don't let them know it's you, the adults. Go out and get these high school students. And we want all the high school students to shut these things down and create this general strike. For this reason as well, in the second document, after looking at the languages used, I think it's probably pretty accurate. It probably was actually put out. But here's where you have to moderate your certainty. I've done this long enough to know that most of the information that you will ever come across is disinformation, even the stuff that supports the things you already think. Somebody is out there trying to manipulate you and trying to get you to act in certain ways. And I learned this from very personal experience. There are people that are supposedly on your side, or that are leaking information, or that are saying that this thing is going to happen. And they have concocted this stuff with the help of insiders in the deep state or in government or intelligence agencies. And they are trying to get people to overreact. Remember that the overall goal of the revolutionary is not a direct line between A and B. It is almost always to get you to do something that can then be used against you, to make you make a mistake, to overreact, to be a reactionary. And that's what I see in a lot of these documents. Just because something is very, very accurate, something has all the fingerprints of the thing that you think that it is, that's what it's designed to be. And so even though I absolutely believe this stuff is being planned, I absolutely believe that there's a revolution that's already begun. I absolutely believe that they plan on using, if not this election, at least the next, couple of election cycles, to bring in this type of revolution. They absolutely want it. The Green New Deal, all this kind of stuff, it's not just coming out of the blue. This stuff is being floated. It's a moving of the Overton window so that people begin to accept certain ideas. And the main idea, of course, is that everybody needs to have an overall loss of freedom so that this idea of equality, equity, or whatever it is that's been tried over the last century and a half over and over and over again has led to hundreds of millions of deaths can be tried here in America. And so my overall point here is, let's just say you came into possession of some document that was lock solid evidence that some event was happening or something like that. And it looks so real because it is. That doesn't mean that it isn't being used to cause you to act in a certain way. You always have to think about this stuff. This is why I have so much frustration sometimes. It's because I spend months and months and weeks and years teaching logic and reason, trying to convince people to moderate their certainty and to think about other things that you don't know. And people still grab this stuff and they run with it as if they're absolutely 100% certain that nobody is pulling their chain, that nobody's controlling them. The only time you ever have any power, listen to very carefully to what I'm going to say. The only fundamental right you really have is the right to say no, the right not to participate, and to live with the consequences of that decision. 300 million, 400 million free men in America who just decided all at the same time just to say no. We're not doing that. You can't make us. We're going to resist you. Would be enough to stop all this nonsense. Even half that amount, even a quarter of that amount, even a tenth of that amount. That's really the right that you have. One of the reasons that I spend most of my time and most of my career and everything else I've been doing to telling you to prepare is because that the prepared person is the most likely and the most willing to say no. If you're not prepared, if your children are hungry, if you're being forced into a certain particular activity that you can't support, but you have no other options, you're more likely to go along with stuff that's just wrong. But people who absolutely have the ability to say no. So, for example, let's just throw out a what if. Those of you people who have been bombarding my email and my messages saying, oh, you're just a Trump surrogate, blah, blah, blah. Regardless of all the things that I've said, absolutely not even considering any of them. Even the fact that I've said within a couple of weeks, even if Trump wins, you're going to find me on the other side of the fence because I am so avidly against the idea of forced vaccinations or the manipulations that are going to come along with mandatory vaccination. You're going to find me your enemy. I'm going to be your enemy. So all you red staters who think I'm on your side, I'm not. I'm for freedom. And so here's the thing. You have to have the ability to say no. If they come out, if everything you want to happen, if your pie in the sky, blue sky view of the world happens, oh my gosh, Trump's going to win. He's going to bring in a new age of freedom. We're going to be back in 1776 and we're all going to be walking around with freedom just dripping out of our pockets, just gold and silver. And then they come out 2 weeks later and they say, listen, you need to show up down here at so-and-so time because we're going to force you to take a shot. We're going to, if you don't do it, you're not going to be able to buy or sell. Thank you, Chris, so much for that super chat. That's what keeps us going. We definitely appreciate it. We're going to need the drinking money for tomorrow. You're right. What are you going to do? You think it's all over tomorrow? Whether you win or whether you lose? It's not. The people that are in power want power. That's the definition of who they are. And so the ability to say no and to suffer the consequences, whatever, if enough people would listen to my voice, if you guys would share this with enough people, that you need to prepare yourself, you need to prepare your family, you need to be more sufficient, you need to be able to defend yourself. And then it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter whether it's the city council or the dog catcher or the next emperor of New York or whoever it is. And they come out and they say, listen, we need you to come take a microchip. And without it, you're not going to be able to buy or sell. You're going to be able to scan your hand and you're going to be able to get whatever you want because we're telling you to. And you can say, no, go screw yourself. I'm going to grow my own food or I'm going to do what I need to do or I'm going to unite with like-minded people. We're just going to say no. All it said. One of the best responses I ever saw at anything like this was back in the 80s or the 90s. One of my favorite comedians, Dennis Miller, said, you know, we don't have to have organizations. We don't have to have PACs. We don't have to have all this other stuff. If just enough people would come out of their house tomorrow, election day, and just start walking towards Washington, D.C. very slowly, things would change overnight. What that means is that it's about being able to say no. That's your only real. You don't have a fundamental right to any of the things that the Constitution says you have a fundamental right to. You may be endowed with your creator with those rights, but people with bigger guns can take them from you if they want to, unless you decide you're not going to let them. And if enough people decide you're not going to let them, then we don't really have any problems, do we? That's what we really need to have. We need to stop thinking that there's a political savior. We need to stop thinking that somehow this thing's going to like miraculously work out, because it's probably not. We're on a long-term trajectory towards statism. It's been going on for a very, very long time. We're seeing like the last days of it. If you understand history, you can look at what's going on right now. The revolutionary stuff that's going on right now is mostly predictable. It's predictable. You're not even seeing it because nobody's reporting it. So we look at it, we say, oh, there's hooligans robbing the Walmart, getting flat screen TVs. Well, that's an ignorant view of what's happening. That's happening, but that's not the thing. You create fear in the populace, whether it's a pandemic or whether it's riots or whether it's threats or whether it's China or whether it's North Korea. You continue to pound people with fear day after day after day, and they are eventually going to give you whatever you want to make the fear go away. Sound people who have a sound foundation, preferably in a spiritual foundation in the true God of the Bible. But outside of that, a sound foundation means that you're not moved by your news. If you're watching the news and you're trepidatious, then you've already begun to lose. The news should not move us. We should be absolutely solid and steady. If you've been listening to me for long enough, you're already starting to get prepared. You're already starting to put up some food. You're learning some skills. You're getting some tools. You're learning how to do without things. You're learning what happens if you don't have to go to the store, or you can't go to the store for a month or 2 months or 3 months. If they shut down COVID forever or whatever, you still have to have the ability at some point to say no. If you're not willing to say no, if you're not willing to have your own red line that says, I'm not going to do this, then it's just a matter of time. It's just X days, just fill in the X. For some people, it's going to be longer than others. That's my only message for tonight. I absolutely believe that there are things going on, surreptitious things going on that involves a revolution in America, a Marxist revolution. And I believe that we're headed in that direction, and it's already taking place. And we're all behind the curve because we all think, oh my gosh, we're not going to let that happen. Meanwhile, 9,999,000, 10,000 times a million fat, overweight, obese people at Walmart are going to scream and yell if they don't get their next stimulus check, or if something doesn't happen, they're going to go ahead and vote for Kamala or Che Guevara, whoever they can vote for. That's where we are. And so what we need is reasonable people to be able to share good information, to moderate their certainty, to understand that we're supposed to look at all of the likely realities and face them head on, to be honest about what we're seeing, be honest about the different things that are likely. It's very possible we're going to get through the election tomorrow. Nothing's going to happen. Everything's going to be blue skies. Whoever wins, we're all going to get back to work. It's possible. Plan accordingly. Put a percentage on that and plan accordingly. It's also possible that we're going to be entering into a period of great disturbance, maybe more than we've ever seen in our lifetimes. That's possible too. Plan accordingly. Put a percentage on the likelihood. We don't have any political saviors. I'm thankful for the opportunity that we have in a small window of time that we have to be able to speak to you and to speak to people and all that kind of stuff and go, hey, perhaps think a different way. Use logic and reason, faith, grace, and those kind of things. And then let's just figure out how to make this thing work. The best thing you can do for yourself and your family is to take off the shades and take off the blinders and start thinking of things in the way that you ought to be thinking of. What things are likely? What happens if Biden wins? What happens if Trump wins? What happens if neither one of them wins and we get into January and they're fighting in the streets? What happens if the military has to start making decisions about what they're going to do because they're getting conflicting orders? What happens if the National Guard has to roll in the streets and things get out of hand and all of a sudden other countries are like, oh my gosh, they've believed the lie. And they're going to like march in here like we've done in other countries and intervene. What's going to happen if somebody takes the opportunity of instability in America to decide to perhaps eliminate a rival? These are all things that are possible. Remember what I've said for months. Looking back on events, what eventually happens will be predictable. It'll be predictable, which means we can, I'll go back to this I've used with you before. If you're on the front end of things, no way some guy shooting some archduke in Austria-Hungary is going to create a world war in which tens of millions of people are going to die. No way some like third-rate politician from Austria-Hungary. Looking forward, it seems silly, but it was predictable. Looking backwards, it's absolutely predictable. Intertangling alliances, the ideas of who wants to maintain power, what ideas are going to hold power in Europe. Read this book I've requested over and over and over again, The Revolt of the Masses, written between the two great wars. It's predictable. What's going to happen starting tomorrow and moving forward is predictable. It's one of the options that is available to us to think and to cogitate on and to plan for. All right. I'm going to go back. I probably missed like a million messages. If you have questions or comments, put them in the comment section. If it says live, I can't do this. I don't have the up here. If it says live up here, then it's live and you can put them in right now. I could answer them right now. But if not, then you're a future person. You're watching this after it's no longer live, and you can still put comments in the comment section, and I always read them. Wear the hoodie. Very possible I will wear the hoodie tomorrow at the party. There is a paid insurgency by the globalists. Agreed. Have you voted? Yes, I voted. To not vote is also a vote. Why would anyone vote for their own enslavement? They do it all the time. Destabilization techniques in the U.S., as do all the other countries. Absolutely, that's true. All right, I'm just scrolling down. Not all of you are going to see these comments. If you're on Facebook, you're not going to see the YouTube comments, vice versa. I'm actually on 6 outlets right now. Do you believe Trump or Biden will accept defeat tomorrow night? Almost 5% possibility that anybody concedes defeat. It's possible by 2 or 3 in the morning, one or the other could concede defeat if it's just an overwhelming electoral landslide and it's impossible that the lawyers can eke out a win. It's possible. I don't think it's likely, but maybe 5% possibility that we have somebody concede by 2 or 3 in the morning. Most likely we're talking about days. Very likely we're talking about weeks. I voted for the first time last week, even though I've been legal age to vote for over 40 years. All right. Well, that's one thing. All right. It is not about buying stuff. You're right, Nancy. It's not. Jesus is the only Savior. Amen. Hello, Scott from the coast of Texas. Viktor Frankl's book about his experiences in Nazi concentration camp comes to mind. Also, Corey ten Boom's. All right, those are all good books. We are behind. I read and researched social credit in China, for example. That should be alarming. Social credit, I've done a show about it before, but we're going to do another show about it very soon. That's something that's coming, absolutely. There's no, I'm not going to say 100%, high 90% that we're going to have a social credit system very, very soon. That's why all the big tech companies are supporting the revolution, because the revolution is about this. It's about forcing people. We want to get rid of the soapbox. We want to get rid of the ballot box. We want to get rid of the cartridge box. We want to get rid of all those things and forcing people into a behavior-based model. And that's why all of these tech companies are all supporting this anti-freedom, anti-free speech, anti-Second Amendment, everything having to do with the foundation of America, is because in the end, when we have a social credit system, the tech companies will be the penultimate power. All right. All right, we're rolling down here. Hermits have social credit. You will have social credit. It'll be like my financial credit. Not bad, because it doesn't really exist. Something I've learned just recently. Going 20, 25 years, 30 years without any credit whatsoever because you don't owe anybody any money, systemically, they just give you a 0. You get a 0. They're like, sorry, you don't have enough debt. We can start a misbehavior based model. I'm trying to model that myself. Prepare for the worst possible outcome and pray and hope for the best is actually absolutely the best policy. All right. So if you have questions or comments, get them in the comment section. As always, I'm here for you. I want to talk about whatever you want to talk about. I hope that you take away from this last episode before the election unless I decide to do a 5-minute live or something tomorrow from the party at Teddy's Brew House in Brownwood, Texas tomorrow. Hey, if you're in the area, come on by. Buy me a beer or something. They got big pretzels and stuff. Come on by, and we can talk. I don't care who you're voting for. Don't care. Won't even ask. I'm probably not going to be wearing any red or blue. I might be wearing this Bunker Nation. I'll be sporting the Bunker Nation repping. Hopefully, we're going to get these hoodies out available for you guys pretty soon. All right, so I'm here for your questions and comments. I'm sorry if I yelled. My wife says I do that, and she doesn't like it. But I'm sorry if I yelled. Hey, buy me a good beer. That's right. And by the way, anybody wants to buy me another beer, we got 2 more dead tires. There's a reason that all these, do they have Dr. Pepper? I'm sure they have Dr. Pepper. Our car about 2 weeks ago, we learned has a really, really bad, has some problems. And in addition to its suspension problems, it also has a broken or missing motor mount, which has caused us to be misaligned, and we are going through tires. And we've put like 6 new tires on in the last few months, and we just found out we've eaten through 2 more pairs of tires, but it's going to cost $1,500 to get the car fixed. So we spent another 100 and something today on tires, and it's disappointing. If you guys want to help out the show, every time I think I'm going to get ahead, and every time I think I got battery money, I'm going to go get batteries, and we're going to power this whole thing, and we're going to go out there, and we're going to expand the amount of platforms we're on, and we're going to have, I'm going to start putting out recorded videos where I can edit it and do some cool stuff and show you videos and show you evidence, do logic classes, all the stuff I want to do. I'm like, I need $500 and I can do this. And I get maybe 100, maybe 200. And then I got to buy tires. So if you want to help out the show, you can always come to our fundraiser if you want. That's one way to do it. Go to michaelbunker.com/fundraiser. You can also just go to facebook.com, find me, friend me, and then through the Facebook private messenger, you can send money, and there's no fee either way. It's free. It's free, and the money comes through immediately. We're still trying to get our battery situation sorted, and we're trying to get a bunch of other things done. We have a plan that I cannot share with you yet. Danielle and I have a plan. I will tell you this about the plan. The plan is going to involve me basically getting a studio where I can not only have power and do recorded videos, where I can do editing and I can introduce other videos and I can show information, but I can also do like cooking videos, diet videos, exercise videos, fun videos, and stuff like that. But we got to get it worked out. So we're working that out. And I appreciate the super chat, War Dog Heim. And I appreciate the fundraiser. And I understand you don't do face hugger, and that's fine. But anybody else that wants to, you can just go to facebook.com/offgrid or just find Michael Bunker on Facebook, and you can do a private message donation. Anybody that can do a donation right now would be tremendously helpful, because I've been angry all day because of our tires. Pray against cheating in battleground states using CIA software. I think that this is something that's probably going to go on. I don't know that it's going to be enough. It's happened before. The 1960 election was a example of a stolen election. 2000 might have been too. And so it's happened before, but I will just tell you, it's very, very difficult. We're dealing with some very, very large numbers. And so although it is possible to concoct or create 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 votes, in most cases, in a few cases that would turn an election, but most cases it might not. And so pray against it is right. I don't know with specifics what all the machinations are that are going on, but there's definitely things that are going on out there. Anybody who doesn't think so has got a problem with reality. All right, if you guys don't have any questions or comments, I appreciate you guys as always. Make sure, please, 4 or 5 people go to YouTube after this video is over. Find Michael Bunker. That's me. Or if you're already on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. I only lost 2 subscribers after my really spicy show last night, but we're trying to get over 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. So go to YouTube and subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button. Right now on here, it's only showing 1 like. I don't know if YouTube is showing more. Likes help. And we might have had a breakthrough in our impasse with YouTube blocking my videos for 3 days as far as monetization, but I'll let you know more about that on my next video. We're going to see what they're actually doing. They seem to have recognized that they've been caught in a situation, and so maybe it's going to get remedied. We'll see. Until then, like the video, subscribe, hit the bell button so that you get notifications every time I go live, and comment. If I'm not live, make sure you leave a comment. Even if you just go, hey Bunker, get a haircut. Whatever you want to do. Do you have to wear a mask where you live? Almost universally not, because we live in a very rural area that's had a very low impact of COVID. Most places, mask is optional and most people don't wear them. In some places, the bigger the city, the more there are places that are requiring it. But in the smaller towns and cities that we go to, most of them are not requiring masks. Hoodies are awesome. I love hoodies, and I'm trying to get some more made. My big thing right now is I'm going to get some hoodies with several different colors for the ladies and everything else that say embrace discomfort. That's going to be our logo for the Bunker Nation. Embrace discomfort, and it'll have a Bunker Nation logo on it somewhere. That's going to be the next big thing. And then I'm going to get these Bunker Nation hoodies and a couple of different colors available as well. All right, 14 likes showing on YouTube. Let's try to get that way over 30 would be great. All right, you all, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you do all that kind of stuff. God bless you all. If I'm not here tomorrow, which I probably will not be, unless I do, be hanging around, because I might do a 5-minute or 10-minute live from the party at Teddy's Brew House. If you're in the area, if you're anywhere in the Central Texas area, come by Teddy's Brew House in downtown Brownwood tomorrow. We'll probably be there after about 7:30. We're going to watch the election results as they come in for as long as they let us stay there. And we just figured it'd be a kind of a place where we would. I don't have power problems, so I know I can watch it, and there would be beer, delicious beer. All right, remember Bunker Nation. Ward Ogheim says wait about 10 minutes after this show is over. Hit refresh, and then put your comments in the comment section. YouTube uses those in the YouTube algorithm to determine if they're going to share this video with anybody else. All right. Well, you're going to see it, Ward Ogheim. You're going to get it. All right. Love you guys. If I don't see you tomorrow, I'll see you the next day, or I'll see you when I see you. God bless you all. Be praying for me. Be praying for everybody else, and pray for that we don't have any violence and everything miraculously works out. And if not, that God protects us in it and through it. Appreciate you all. God bless you. I'll talk to you soon.